To say that the altars surprised me this year would be an understatement, to put it lightly. If anything, it felt more like an ambush. I just tried the game out because I thought the demo looked cool, and it ended up being one of the most emotional and engaging experiences I've had with the game in a really long time. How would I describe the game? It's a survival game. You've crash landed on this desolate alien planet and you need to survive and stuff. But that's kind of hard when you only got one dude and that dude's kind of an idiot. So what you do is you can make these clones of yourself. But they're not normal clones, identical clones. They're more alternate versions of yourself, each with different skill sets and specializations, but also completely different personalities and memories. They're effectively their own characters. So the game is split in these two halves. You have the survival stuff, which is kind of like Pikmin meets Death Stranding, sort of. You have to go out and explore the levels while collecting resources and managing your time so that the radiation doesn't eat you. Meanwhile, you have the base management, which mostly consists of having conversations with your alters, usually about the existential crisis they're all collectively having. I almost want to say it's like Persona a little bit, with choosing the best dialogue choice to make them like you more, but that's not totally accurate. It feels a lot more involved than that. And all of that, it probably sounds like a mess, to be honest, but it really works. It's a perfect mix of systems, both mechanical and narrative, that feed into one another. As a survival game, it's tense and stressful, but as a piece of science fiction, it's incredibly provocative. It manages to show real compassion and empathy while also not being afraid to make you extremely uncomfortable. There are parts of this game that made me terrified, and others that felt euphoric. There's a scene so good in this game that I almost want to spoil it, but I won't. If you take one thing away from this video, please play the altars. I promise you, this game is one of the most amazing, creative, thoughtful, passionate, charming, strategic, wonderful, spectacular, beautiful, dynamic, reflective, vivacious, gregarious, inclusive, handsome, athletic.
I got a new Weezer album.
It's the start of a new year, I think. And normally, that means it's time for a big video of me talking about all the cool games I played over the last year. And I was gonna do that. That was the plan. There's just one problem. 2025 kind of sucked. I thought it was no good. I didn't like it very much. And honestly, I'm not 100% sure what even happened. I just didn't play as many games as I normally do this year. And I'm not 100% sure. There's a couple reasons I can think of. Number one, I just wasn't really interested in a lot of the big releases that came out this year. If you look at the Game of the Year nominees, the actual Game Award nominees, and let's also ignore the big one, you know? If we just look at the rest of the nominees, you have Hades 2, I haven't played the first one until very recently, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, never played the original, Death Stranding 2, take a guess, Hollow Knight Silksong, I played that and the first game for an hour each, I thought they were fine, and then also Donkey Kong Bonanza, but we're gonna talk about that later. It's a bunch of sequels to a bunch of games that I haven't really played at all. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you thought this was a great year and you've played all those games, then yeah, it probably was a really good year for you. Apart from the ones that people won't shut up about, there just wasn't a whole lot of originality present throughout the year. And I know a lot of people's response to that would be play more indie games. There's a ton of indie games coming out. Do you understand how fucking hard that is to actually do? Go through all of Steam's new releases, sort through all the porn games and all the AI schlock to actually, and even ignoring those, there's just a lot of indie games, more than any one person could ever play, and it gets kind of disheartening at some point to look through all of these 6 and 7 out of 10s and be yeah, it looks fine, but I'm just not gonna play that. I have a backlog. I have a life. I want to be able to play the things that I actually want to play and not just keep adding more and more and more on top of it. Besides, I have a hard enough time making people play the games I actually care about without having to also add in like, oh, it's like Vampire Survivors, but it's Flappy Bird. And now let's talk about the last big elephant in the room. This fucking thing. The Switch 2 came out this year and everyone's response was a resounding yay until they saw the price and then they went, oh. I could not have foreseen the amount of straight up apathy that everyone is projecting towards the Switch 2. Like, nobody cares about it. And I mean, I like it. The controllers aren't bad. The mouse has potential, but like, am I really gonna sit here and be like, yeah, you should spend $500 on a console to play Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World and also Kirby Air? Okay, why did they make two kart racers in the launch year of their new console? They made two racing games? Are you kidding me? Two racing games, and neither of them were even the best one that came out this year. The Sonic one was way better somehow. I think that sums up a lot of the problems with 2025 as a year for gaming, is that like, there was cool stuff. There was a lot of cool stuff even, but it just comes with so many asterisks of like, yeah, there's a new Switch. You can't afford it. Unfortunately, real world politics have affected gaming in a way that I guess nobody could have seen coming. Now, all that being said, there were some cool games that I played this year, and I do want to talk about them because I think they were fun. I had fun this year, sort of. First, let's catch up on some of the games from last year's video. Rift of the NecroDancer came out. That game was so good. It really was a Game of the Year contender for a while until this fucking thing. I think it might actually be my favorite rhythm game that I've ever played. It's, I mean, the only rival is like Guitar Hero, but it's still, it is such a fun, like, it's a rhythm game, but it's almost more like a puzzle. It's like it's figuring out a puzzle in real time, synced up to the music, and there's also Steam Workshop support, so it has like infinite content. It's also getting a bunch of official DLC too. It's just like, if you like rhythm games at all, if you have any passing interest, no matter what your skill level is, I think you should check out Rift of the NecroDancer. That is a fantastic game. Also from this year, we had Keep Driving, that also finished development. And I still really like it. Still has a great soundtrack. Still hits the vibes just right. Also, Abiotic Factor. Abiotic Factor came out. I finally played it, and I thought it was great. I thought it was really fun, especially playing with a friend or two. Yeah, that is a pretty fun sort of Half-Life take on survival games. I definitely give that one a shout out. And speaking of playing with friends, there was a lot of, I guess we're calling it friend slap in 20. I'm not calling it that. That is such a stupid name for a genre. There were a lot of cheap games that you play with your friends this year, one of them being Repo. As a game, I'm not too sold on the design of it, but it provides like a really good sandbox to just have a lot of fun with friends. Again, yeah, it's tapping into a very Lethal Company sort of vibe, and I think it works pretty well. I also have to mention Peak. Peak is a game that I think is actually like just really well made. It's really fun. It's like the perfect mix of actually a good game, but also it just gives you so many tools to just mess around with your friends. I think it's really, like, it's the perfect like kind of jump in, jump out, bite-sized play for like an hour or two every like weekend. And it's just a fun time, a really fun time actually. And speaking of Peak, I do have to mention Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It's a good game. I hate to say it. I wish I could be a contrarian, but I gotta say, they kind of cooked with that one. Now, would I name it my game of the year? No, but it is genuinely a really solid RPG with the Dark Souls-esque parrying that you do the whole time. It's more like a souped up version of like a Mario and Luigi RPG, but it's still like really good. I mean, the game made me cry like within the first hour. That even this game didn't do that to me, so yeah, I kind of gotta put it up there. Speaking of cool new games, I gotta mention Blueprints. Just one of the best puzzle games that we've ever had, frankly. It's it's so weirdly engaging, even as someone who's absolutely awful at it. It's like a really addicting game where you just do run after run to try to even like find anything to do anything with your time. It's a tricky game, but it is even as someone who didn't even get close to finishing it, I had a lot of fun, and I put a good amount of hours into it too. Also, it's like a roguelite puzzle game, deck builder. Even after playing it, I don't understand how it's possible that those elements fit so well. They just do. Now that's a good segue to get into roguelite games. There were a few, I gotta admit, there was a few good ones this year. I think I gotta start off with the masterpiece that is Nubby's Number Factory. It's like a Peggle / Pachinko sort of roguelite with like a early 2000s kids art program aesthetic, and it's pretty good. It's pretty addicting. It's like $5 or something. I think it might not even be that much. It's like a really good, really cheap roguelite. I think it's coming to phones this upcoming year. If you ever want something just absolutely goofy to play, you should play Nubby. A few other ones I want to shout out. There was Lone Star, a really nice kind of deck builder, dice rolling spaceship battler. A little similar to Slay the Spire, a little similar to FTL. I put way more hours into it than I thought I would. It's actually like a pretty fun game once you like really get into it. Also Wordplay, a Scrabble roguelite where you have to like spell words with different modifiers and stuff like that. It's very Balatro coded, but it's actually pretty fun, to be honest with you. Oh, also StarVaders. That was another really like tightly designed sort of deck builder-ish roguelite, where you're moving the mech around like it's almost like a tactics, like Slay the Spire tactics, where you gotta like do cards and stuff. A lot of really fun mechanics it throws into there. Also, the soundtrack of that game kicks ass. I'm assuming it's playing right now in the video. It's a really good soundtrack. It makes the game feel so much more exciting than it really is, and it's just so good. And of course, I can't mention a roguelike deck builder without mentioning roguelite deck builder. I mean, honestly, I thought the game was kind of funny. Holy shit, what is going on back there? That's crazy. And a few other games I wanted to mention. We had a couple RPGs. Besides Clair Obscur, we also had Look Outside, an RPG Maker survival horror, but firmly it's a turn-based party RPG. And it is another one of those games that has way more depth to it than you would ever expect it to have. And there's I think there's literally like 20 different endings. Haven't gotten most of those, but even just like the general gameplay of it, the horror is really fun, very cosmic, very like eldritch sort of. Eldritch cosmic are they the same thing? Who knows? Nobody. Also, Kingdoms of the Dump. That was a game I actually didn't find until after the year ended, but I really am glad I found it because it's the most faithful recreation of like an SNES era RPG that I think I've ever seen. Like, it really actually looks and feels like it. The animation is really nice. The actual gameplay is pretty cool too. And of course, the aesthetic. Everyone's garbage.
I forgot to talk about deep space exploitation. Disclaimer, I did get a review copy for the game, but I don't think that should matter because I was playing this game back when the demo came out, like months before it released. I think it was a very cool Papers, Please sort of asteroids-esque mining game they do in space. It was pretty cool. Alright, I forgot to record it in the video, so it's going here now.
Also, I didn't have anywhere else to put this, but Skin Deep. Another great game, immersive sim-esque like spaceship spy game where you gotta kill everyone. Yay. That's pretty much everything, but I do think I need to at least mention a couple more games that technically didn't come out in 2025, but I definitely played a lot in 2025. One of them was Marvel Rivals. I kept playing it after the end of last year. Especially with the last couple seasons, the game is way more fun than it has any right to be. And the last game that I really need to talk about is Deadlock, Valve's new hero shooter MOBA hybrid. And yes, it really is both a MOBA and a hero shooter. They fully commit to both lanes. And it's one of the most fun games I've ever played. I've already put in like almost 100 hours into the game, and it's not even like an alpha yet. It's pre-alpha. And it's one of the best multiplayer games I've ever seen. The movement is insane. The hero designs are genius. And like, the mobile elements are not too much. They're pretty strong, but they're not too much for me to not be able to understand. There's still enough of that hero shooter DNA that I'm just having a gay old time. Yeah, we're keeping that one in. Okay. Look, all I'm trying to say is keep an eye on Deadlock in 2026. That game is going to blow up in a big way, and I was here. Hope y'all had a good year. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Sorry that it's not the usual big edited thing that I normally do. I just did not have the momentum or the motivation really to commit to a whole like hour-long thing this year, unfortunately. But don't worry, because 2026 is not going to be the same story. This is going to be a great year for me, for you. I know it. But seriously, I got some cool stuff in the works. I should be able to talk about it pretty soon. I think y'all are going to really like it. Until then, though, how about next time we play some Path Logic? Yeah, let's do that. Mic drop. I hope that didn't sound like shit. Happy almost February. I'll see you then. Reflective, vivacious, gregarious, inclusive, handsome, athletic, chiseled, curvaceous. I couldn't even finish it. Oh no. That's it. I can't do another take better than that.